Welcome to a new wandering. Today I am in Eltham, which is part of the borough of Greenwich in southeast London, and I have come to see something I've been planning to see for many years, but never got around it until today. And I invite you to come join me on this wandering through Eltham Palace and gardens. And we are in. Oh, I'm so excited. It's just the light playing up a little bit, but I hope you can see well what I can't. Now, before we go any further, I have stopped here on this bridge because it is important, as it's London's oldest working bridge that links the palace entrance to the palace, of course, and then we have the moat, and everything looks really pretty. I can see some stairs in the distance. Maybe we can go down there later. And I can see that some renovations are being made, and let's see, I believe there's a unicorn and a lion. Okay, beautiful willow. And that's where I came in. There's two entrances. You need to go a different way if you need to buy your tickets, but I'm an English Heritage member, so I could just check in by this entrance. Quick look onto the other side, and here we go. Oh, light, please don't play with me. I need to find the best spot where I can show it to you. It's autumn, so we will be seeing all sorts of random fruits everywhere. But let me start with the beginning. I don't think we will get to see it completely from this side because of this beautiful tree in the middle. I think there's a perfect view when I will cross onto the other side. But briefly about Eltham Palace is a place where medieval royalty and the 1930s Art-Deco glamour meets. And I'm gonna try to go through with you over more than 700 years of history, touching on the royal nursery and court, the spectacular 15th century Great Hall, and an extraordinary 1930s modern home created by Stephen and Virginia Courtauld. Now I will try to share more about them and the history of this whole place as we go along. I can't wait to see it. As I said, it's been many years I had this on my list. I can hear parakeets, and I couldn't help myself not to look at these beautiful berries. And even the rain gutter is beautiful. Okay, let's get back to the history of it. Eltham began life as a moated manor and was given to the future King Edward II in 1305, after which it became a royal residence that was used across the 14th and 15th century. For many centuries it was a favorite palace for kings and princes, and it was a place of tournaments and also royal childcare and courtly life. Prince Henry, the later King Henry VIII, spent most of his childhood here, and the place saw visits from important foreign dignitaries during the late medieval period. The medieval Great Hall was built for King Edward IV in the 1470s, and it is one of the site's architectural stars, if you will. It has an impressive oak roof, which I can't wait to see, but Let's go in and explore it. We will see a lot of oil elements. I'm very happy about. It is my favorite design style of the 20th century. And in we go. Wow. Okay, that was just a little snippet. Look at this. Wow. Now that's a welcome hall, if I've ever seen one. It's really large. I'm not even sure if my little phone camera can give back the grandeur of it all. And there we go. That was the entrance. There's others, but I wanted to show you the paneling. It's absolutely beautiful. Okay, quickly to make sense of why do you see all these changes and the Art Deco elements and all that, is because after the Tudor period, Eltham fell from your royal favor and gradually decayed and was used as a farm and tenanted property. And by the early 20th century, much of the medieval complex fell into ruins or was in very poor repair. And in the 1930s, it was leased out to Stephen and Virginia Courtauld, and they have done a major renovation, and they have built this house, which is next to the Great Hall. So let's go and explore it. There's a route that they are suggesting, which goes up those stairs. So let's try and follow that. Okay, let's have a quick look at this. Come a bit closer. Looks absolutely spectacular. Let's go up. There's so many interesting things here. I will get to show some of it to you. Wow, it's really high. I think this painting is part of what I've just showed you when we were entering. I think this is that little lift where they would have the food come up and down. Now there's a little film I'm gonna go sit and watch. I can't show that to you, but let's have a look into one of the rooms. This is called the pair bedroom. There's a fireplace. Okay, it's called a pear bedroom because all this furniture is made out of pear wood. As you can see, it's a smaller room, so it was used by single guests, but it's more than comfortable. It has everything you need. Okay, just by it, there's a bathroom, toilet, sink, bath, towel rack, and the skylight. Oh, wow. What is this room? It's a much larger one. I think it leads into another bathroom. quick scan around. That's a tiny study room. And there's a view onto the garden. Oh, can't wait to get out there. It has one of those doors which can confuse you because it looks like there's books. Well, they are the actual back of some books. I read that there are some secret passages here and there. Probably we won't get to see them, but well, I can imagine things as I go along. Before I go in there, I just spotted this by the window. Look, you can see the dome of that cupola we saw at the entrance. Now, they were very wealthy and they spared no expense. As you can see, some of the, well, all of the interiors were really grand, and I don't think we have everything as the way they had it. All the furniture was bespoke with some cutting-edge domestic technology at the time, like built-in audio, central vacuum, underfloor heating. They've done that even including in the medieval Great Hall. Oh, that's pretty. Now, if you're wondering why am I showing you a giant stuffed lemur, is because he was part of the household. His name was Mah-Jongg, and he was a gift from Stephen to his wife at the beginning of their marriage, and he had a pampered life. Lived here for 15 years with them. There's Mah-Jongg, the original, chilling. Now, as I go along, everything is absolutely new to me. I'm seeing it for the first time. Oops, come back, light. Beautiful bust. It's like amazing here. This is her famous walk-in wardrobe. Of course, it has only a few display bits. As always, the glass is not my friend, but there's an amazing gown in there. I assume this was their bedroom. Wow. And the bathroom. Oh yeah, this was Ginny's bathroom. It's famous for its opulence, and I'll show you in a second. Ta-dun-dun. Ta-da! That's a bath with the golden tiles, and that's, I think, a statue of Psyche. The taps, and I assume the water would pour out from the lion's mouth. There's a huge natural sponge, and then the bits and bobs you would need for your bath. And you can see, you know, like this towel rack and all Most people at that time had no such things in their homes. I'm trying really hard to fit it in, but it's very large. Okay, let's go back to the bedroom. Statues and decorations on the panels. And the wardrobe. And you had the desk. Curtains are drawn. Wow. What's in there? Okay, I just read that this was her suite, not of the two of them. She was born in Romania to Italian father and Hungarian mother. She's really interesting. I had no idea. I found a few pieces of her jewelry. I like that little lizard. Let's see. Okay, I assume this is her room. Oh, it goes all over. It goes over the door. When it's closed, it makes a nice whole scene. Beautiful, but by far much more simpler than Virginia's. Let's see his bathroom. I like the blue. I never know which way to go. There's always different options. Okay, I'm assuming this is another guest bedroom. Now, when they had guests coming, they loved it here because they were pampered. And as there was so many extras that you would not find in other places, I'm sure everybody was delighted to be invited. Now the bathroom. Oh, there's the fireplace. Oh, this was the bedroom of the nephew Paul that Virginia doted on. Sorry about the matte filming. I need like a few more pairs of eyes to be able to look everywhere. Another bedroom. This was his brother Peter's room. To yawn to the gardens. Now what's in here? Garter suit dressing room. Okay, I can see some artifacts. Now we have a view onto the entrance. Alright, these are objects that were excavated here, which date to the Tudor period. And these ones are from the medieval times. And I like that little fragment of a ceramic jug. And I believe something grand is expecting us. Take two. Had to let the dead and the little munchkins come through. Oh wow, we're in the Great Hall. Wow. I didn't know I'm gonna end up being circled right onto here. Wow. So I just came through that little door, and then they could sit around and admire it all. Wow. Come on, light, come play with us. Obviously, I'm gonna end up down there at one point. Wow, wow. I am blown away by the woodwork. Look at that. Magnificent. Well, they have done an amazing job in restoring it. Okay, this bit where I'm standing is called the Minstrel's Gallery, and as I had the hunch that they built it so they could see out onto the Great Hall, it was also used by the musicians when they would have parties and host all sorts of events down there. So it's the perfect spot for it. But wow, I wish I could have wings and fly higher up and see everything bit by bit. Wow. Okay, let's continue the tour. Well, that was mind-blowing. I got to speak to one of the people who work here. I'll tell you more as I go out somewhere. I think I need to go down this way. Let's look at this lamp. It's huge. Of course, wooden ceiling. Wow. And just like on the other side when we were coming up, I love the symmetry of it. I think maybe that's why Art Deco is one of my favorite styles. Okay, that leads onto the ground floor. Big old clock. Ooh, I see books. Another amazing room. This is the boudoir. It's Jeannie's sitting room, where she would come in to relax and chat with friends and visitors. Wow. The carpets even now are very soft. Okay, I don't even know which way to go again. What's behind there? Oh yeah, this is something amazing. It's called the map room. They had this room completely plastered with various maps because they were avid travelers, so they would spend time plotting their course and all. But over time, people put wallpaper over it. And when then they started restoring this house, they found it and ta-da! Look, I can even see some little of islands and palm trees. Maybe a lighthouse there. And an elephant. Kind of funny looking. The man with his dog. Okay, let's have a look at the boudoir from here. Phone. Now what's this? Is the other part of it? Yeah. This This is where the fireplace is, and you can see that on the right of it there's like a hidden door. I wonder where that led. What's next?
So this is so you can see because this kind of picture shows like
Wow.
this person is
Cool. I like this room. This is the library. Gorgeous. Now both of them were passionate about traveling and exploration, but Stephen was so invested in it that he even sponsored the 1930-31 British Arctic air route expedition to Greenland, which included his cousin. I am not sure, I'm only guessing that these books might be from the original collection. There's loads, and we are not allowed to pass beyond this point. There's a very large globe there. Wow. Definitely amongst my favorite rooms I've seen so far. And the Encyclopedia Britannica. Okay, let's go into the Great Hall. I just noticed
merging to one. So
some amazing screens here.
So they can all, yes.
As you can see, Chinese.
That's really interesting. Thank you. Very wrong idea completely. So
because this time, because you let out the soldiers, obviously you're shocked to get that.
Just include some more. And now let's go through. I know I have already showed it to you from above, but we need to see it from down here as well. I love those doors. And ta-da! Wow. Now, when I was up in the Minstrels Gallery, I got to speak to one of the lovely volunteers, and he told me that this, what do you call it, false hammer beam is the third largest in the country after the one in Hampton Court and Westminster. I think the best view would be if I would lie down onto the floor and just look up. Now, the middle bit there where you can see it's like an airing hole there is because that's where the smoke would escape. In medieval times, you would have a massive fire pit sort of thing here in the middle of the hall. And they've done it in a way so it would serve it properly. Now, these false hammer beams are all made out of oak because the area used to have tons and tons of gorgeous oak trees, and they're all held together by wooden pegs, and I didn't get to zoom on to those when I was upstairs because I actually saw them but I got distracted talking to the lovely person working here. The craftsmanship of it all is just amazing. And did I tell you already that besides having underfloor heating in the new place they have built in the house that we visited, they have also introduced that here in the Great Hall. Because you can imagine, here in the UK we have a lot of fairly cold weather that lasts for months and months, and a hall like this could not be properly warmed just with a few fireplaces or electric radiators, and they have invested into making it as comfortable as possible. Let's have a quick look here as well. Oh, light. There. It reminds me of Gothic churches I've seen. Again, intricate carvings. Alright, I am more or less right in the middle of the far end, and I am encouraging you to let your imagination go. Imagine the Tudor times and what happened here, and then the mid and late 30s and beginning of the 40s, with all the lavish gatherings and all. Wow. Can't really read who those bishops are up there. Coat of arms. Sun was in my eyes and I couldn't see. Anyway, there's an amazing door here, but we can't go that way. And there we have the inscriptions in Latin and in English. Now I remember reading that during the Second World War the Great Hall was bombed. It wasn't too damaged, but it did incur some damage. And the throne-like chair. Okay. Need to walk back from where I came from. I'm curious what's next. Look, even the shadow of this lamp is beautiful. Okay, we're back to the main entrance. Oh, I've not seen this room yet. Wow. Wow. I can see a piano. Okay, this is the drawing room, and as you probably noticed, it is decorated differently than the others. This is because of Stephen's interest in Italian art, and I believe he commissioned an Italian designer to do this room.
Did someone help you find the right thing there?
And the drawing room would be empty without champagne and cigars. I just noticed something. Let me try and zoom in on the beam. Can you see there's colored motifs? They are inspired from Hungarian folk. There. I think we can see this one better. It's just because the room is dark and it's a bit tricky to film. minute and show you something fun. Dum dum dum. On this bamboo ladder. Guess whose little play area was this? There's Mah-Jongg. They really indulge this little creature. Okay, I think next is the dining room. Wow. Again, wow. I think I've said that a lot throughout the video, but I'm just blown away by the intricacy, the attention to detail, and just all of it. I would have, see, this is one of the reasons I would like for time traveling to be possible. I most definitely would like to be the guest of Jeannie and Stephen. An inlaid door with creatures, and another one there, and some of the crystalware. Just look at the table settings. How stylish. Come and join me for dinner. And there's another one of those doors. Beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. Some Greek jars. There's another one. The same person by the name of Malakrida designed this room, as well as the one we've been in before. Okay, one more time. I can see a sign for the basement from here, and before we move on, because there's other people in front of me, I'll just briefly tell you that during the Second World War, they built a bomb and gas-proof basement bunker underneath the house, and guess what? It included a bar, a larder, a billiard room, a sound system, and even telephone exchanges. Well, and despite the wartime danger, they still entertained guests in some fashion from the safety of these bunkers. Now, they most definitely knew how to live. Let's go and see if this will lead there. Which way? Basement. Oh no! It will be shut today. No, no, no! Oh, I'm not happy. I was very curious about it. Okay, never mind. There's a second-hand bookshop. Let's have a quick look. I'm always interested in books. Spotted something interesting which is perfect for gifts, and I'm buying some. You can have a seat whilst you look through a book.
How do you end up with a Texas gardening book?
Donated.
Okay, I came out of the house and I had nothing better to do than buy a bunch of books to carry them around. But look what I got. 5 books by Tolkien. I have the whole lot. I used to have them, but I gave them away years ago, and now I couldn't help myself not to buy them. And the sun has come out, because when I first entered the house it was drizzling. Now let's go around and see the grounds and the gardens. I believe that altogether it's about 19 acres. But don't worry, I'm not gonna take you around all of it. But let's see the highlights of it. Okay, I'm back to the bridge and I just noticed this little Oopsie. I suppose you could keep watch and shoot at incoming enemies. And there's the bridge from where I began. Okay, we can see more of it in one way, but partially obscured by this gorgeous willow. But let's go round. And we get to see the building from the outside on the other left, right and center bits. Some of the fruits of the decorative passion fruit.
It's also the latest dates again.
Let's look down once again. Oh wow, look at that. I believe this is the bit which they call the sunken rose garden. The sun is in my eyes and I can't see, but this is so very pretty. I'm just continuing to stare at this. There's some gorgeous dahlias, still looking beautiful. It's quite late in the season. Look at these twins and the different one. And we are at the back of the building, which still looks absolutely glorious. What a lovely place they could come out to sit down, enjoy the view, listen to the birds. Lovely. Okay, I just came through there. And then this is the side. You can see part of the Great Hall. Lovely green and trees. More dahlias. Look at these ones. Layer upon layer. And these ones too. But I like these ones just as much. I'll be looking back from time to time so you can have an idea what was there. I can see a little bridge. Oh wow, I like this mossy brick wall. And there's a little gate leading out. To pay attention, not to fall over. Okay, that must be part of the old walls for sure. Wow. The noises, they're the green rose ring parakeets. Obviously they live here as well, as they do in many parts of London. Surrey. I found some mushrooms. I was looking for little robins because they were flying around, but then they took off before I got to video them. And there we are. Beautiful. Look at that, the reflection in the water. Sorry about the bag noises. Now I'm carrying the books around in a plastic bag and it's annoying me, but I just couldn't leave those books there. I think that's a little Japanese maple. And tom tom tom. It's a shame that the light is playing up now because it just looks so beautiful. There we go. Okay, I found an even better spot. There we go. You can see it almost completely from here. What a sight. I hope you're not bored. There's a lot and lots of green area all around. And I think I can see some greenhouses maybe in the distance. Let's see. I need to look up the map and check what's what. Yeah, definitely there's some greenhouses there. That's where I came up. Okay, whilst I walk across there, let me tell you a little bit more about the Courtaulds. That although they created something magnificent here, they only lived here for about 11 years from their major renovation until the war caused damage and they finally gave up the lease in 1944. Also, for Virginia, a major loss happened. Her nephew Paul died on active service in World War II, and this contributed to her depression and their ultimate decision to leave. Also, I think, as I mentioned, through the war, the palace was bombed and incurred a lot of roof damage, and the glass houses were destroyed. And I think I also mentioned that, yeah, they used the basement as a bomb shelter. So in May 1944 they moved out, and they passed on the remainder of their lease to the Army Educational Corps, who used it for education, training, examinations, and resettlement support for soldiers. A few years later, in 1951, the Courtaulds relocated to southern Rhodesia, which is now Zimbabwe, and there they built a house that they called La Rochelle in the Eastern Highlands. In Rhodesia, they continued their philanthropic work and supported causes they believed in. Notably, they opposed racial segregation in the theatre, and they founded the Courtauld Theatre and other institutions promoting more inclusive and more liberal values. They also supported culture and the arts in Rhodesia, and Stephen was involved with the National Gallery of Zimbabwe, and he gave them loads and loads of works of art. They ended up passing away a few years apart. Stephen in 1967 and Virginia died in 1972. And their legacy remains in the works and the restoration of Eltham, in the artifacts and in the philanthropic gifts, and La Rochelle in Zimbabwe, as I mentioned. I can hear a lot of very tired children. There's a playground nearby. Okay, as I said, there's a playground here and the picnic area on the left. There's a cafe and a shop, and I want to see what's in. Oh, I just realized the cafe is within the greenhouse. Okay, you can sit outside or inside. I think it's time for coffee and maybe a little treat. And ta-da! I went for the cream tea. I'm a rubbish waitress, so I managed to spill my coffee. But it's a sultana scone with blackcurrant jam, and normally it comes with Cornish clotted cream, but it's the later part of the day and they ran out, so they gave me butter. Come and enjoy it with me. That's the inside part. And there's another outdoor area which is now closed because it's getting late. Oops. And I just spotted little lemons there. Look at that. That was a nice treat, and I can say that that was the best coffee I had that I didn't make this year. I don't have a lot of coffees in cafes, because they are now ridiculously expensive, and most times I am disappointed. I prefer to invest that money into outings and wanderings. Oh, that's a cute hedgehog. I just can't carry things home. And I tried lifting it, and it's a solid block of stone carved a bit, so it's very heavy. Just wanted to have a quick browse here with the gardening bits. Sheep. And you're the little black sheep. Ginormous birds. And the little bunny. I like that. And the little... Okay, this is a section where there's a rose garden, but there's only a few roses left as it's autumn. And I have no idea what kind of tree this is. I need to look it up. But it's beautiful. And it has these interesting looking fruits. I found a little bee. You're still working away, darling. Yes, look at you. With your fluffy little body. Oh, I like them so much. You can walk around here for hours. I don't have much time left. An apple tree. And there's apples on it. Look. And somebody's been munching on them. Not just one, but that one too. That one even more. Now I wonder who did that. Squirrels, parakeets, or some other birds. Do they look like teeth marks not pecking? So I'm not sure. Another interesting plant. I don't know what it is. I know it's not it, but it reminds me of the monkey puzzle tree. But this is something else. It's a shrub, quite tall. Look. Well, look at the intricacy of the leaves. I had to walk back a bit because these side gates, like that one there, they're all locked up because I believe people are sneaking in. That's one of the paths where you can come in, but then you need to go get the ticket. So I wanted to come back because I want to go down into the moat and have a look from there. And wow, again. Let's admire it once again. Now slightly from the right side. How beautiful that looks. And just underneath this tree I spotted some tiny cyclamen. I think that's what they are. Yep, look at that. I think this is the wild kind, because the ones we usually get for indoors, they are much larger. They're so pretty. And the snippet from here. I found some snowberries. That's what they're called. You see, they have these strikingly white berries. I believe they're poisonous, but I remember as kids we used to pick them and then you throw them on the floor and you step on them, and if you step on them the right way they make a really nice popping sound. La la la. Beautiful. Sadly, I'm really losing the light now, but I hope it still shows. Going all around, and the bridge is there. Oh. Let's go onto this little bridge. We saw it from the lawn down there. Has lovely vines going on the side. That's the right side. Now we have the new building, the old building. And
Between here and
let's go on to here. Absolutely beautiful. You can see the different layers of the old walls. But anyway, I have decided to end the video here because it's 5 and they close at 5 o'clock. I hope you enjoyed this wandering through gorgeous Eltham Palace and gardens with me today. And let me know in the comments which part fascinated you the most. The medieval Great Hall or the glamorous 1930s Art Deco, or maybe the quirky stories about Virginia and her pet lemur. Let me know. It would be nice to have some interaction with you lovely viewers, and I strongly encourage for anyone who has the opportunity to visit. Sorry, a bee just landed on my hand. What was I saying? Anyone who has the opportunity to visit the London area, do spend a day here. It's well worth it. And until the next wandering, I wish you all a lovely day. Bye!